Hello, everyone. Welcome to Quantum GK. It's another Thursday night, and our guest for this evening is a GK USA board member, no other than Tony Pasqua. Hi, Tito Tony.
Hi. Hi,
Hello.
Donna. Hi, everyone.
Well, thank you, Tito Tony, for joining us this evening for Kwentuhan, for a night of conversation with, with the two of us and also our friends, obviously, on Kwentong GK, those people who follow us on GK USA's Facebook page, and also those who are in the Philippines who are also actively and religiously watching us every Thursday. And we also have some followers in other countries like Brazil, just different countries all over the world who are, following GK USA. So if you happen to be watching this episode, we are with our one of our GK USA board members, Tony Pasqua. Tito Tony. So yan na. Let's start with, so you have been a GK USA board member for how long na po?
Maybe I think it's about 4 years now.
Okay, 4 years. But also at the same time though, you are the area director for Riverside, right?
Used to be before becoming a board member, I was the area director at the Santa Clarita uh, region in north of LA.
Okay. So
And
you're a board member and then you're an area director. How does that work? Hindi ba yan overwhelming or how does that work for you?
okay lang kasi naman because it's okay because it doesn't conflict in the sense that meeting is not regular on the area directors. It's about more on in presence contact, one
Uh-huh.
on one, or you talk to people. But
Yeah.
GK board is more formally a board meeting, where you discuss uh, all the agendas in the board meeting.
And where we have to really be present or have a quorum, so to speak, so
Yes,
that we can
yes.
make we can vote on certain matters and make decisions as as a group also. No, so I noticed then that uh, many episodes ago, believe it or not, we started Quantum GK in September of last year, and one of the guests we had was Dr. Diamse Lani Diamse.
Yes.
And she's the area director in LA, I think, right?
Orange County.
Orange County. So, how many do you know how many area directors there are in para ang laki ng, that I feel like Southern California is so big that, there are, more than one area directors. I mean,
Oh,
like in Illinois, we have one in Chicago who's a Leslie Tequila.
yeah, there's a lot of area directors I know, especially in Sacramento is Tess Pauling, and then
Mhm.
up north at San Jose is Inoy Figueroa, and then here in Santa Clarita is my area, and then in Orange County is Lani, and
Mhm.
then Mari Limbelo also I think become an area director.
Wow.
And in Texas, I know Carol Tulod.
Mhm.
And then in Miami, I think either
John.
John.
Mhm.
Yeah,
John
uh,
Haribi. We
yeah.
had
I
him on the
I
show.
used to uh, work with Marie. Uh,
Nathan Mari. Yeah,
Marie, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. We together he stayed in my house, and then we went to San Jose and meet with Inoy Figueroa. And then also we went to San Diego to meet uh, Tony Elias.
Mhm.
Then one time we have a meeting there. So I already met several people in GK since I started it in 2006. 2006 is my first involvement to GK. Um, Actually, it's Rose Cabrera that inspired us to be part of GK because during the CFC conference in I think it's Houston, Texas. No, San Antonio, Texas. Rose Cabrera shared the GK, and we were touched by his his testimonial about GK. So for us, like a CFC, that's one of our faith in action is the Gawad Kalinga. So, but we don't know yet what Gawad Kalinga is all about. Then suddenly, in LA, Rose, Rick Munda, and myself were in a meeting in LA, Chinatown. Then suddenly Tony Milota showed up. And Tony Milota showed up. And he said that his uh, technical assistant or person made a mistake in booking his flight. Instead of going to San Francisco, he went to LA. So there I met Tony Milota personally. And then passing by, I mentioned to Tony Milota that, oh, we'll be going to the Philippines to attend my sister's silver wedding. And then Tony Milota right away gave me a calling card and said, when you're in the Philippines, give me a call. So I kept the calling card. So when we were already in the Philippines, then, you know, your priority is to be with your family, relatives, especially it's a 25th wedding anniversary. And then a day before we going back to US, I saw Tony Miloto's calling card, so I called him. And then he asked me, "Are you available to see a GK Village?" I said, "Well, we'll be leaving tomorrow." And then he said, "How about now? I'm in EDSA Shangri-La. Why not come now and I will take you to the GK Village?" So me and my wife asked my nephew to drive us to from Las Piñas to EDSA Shangri-La. I met Tony Miloto with Boy Montelibano. So what Tony did and Boy did, uh, we rode on Tony Miloto's transportation and Boy, and my nephew just follow us. So the first GK village we saw is the one in Quezon City. The
You know where in Quezon City, Tito?
I think it's the what do you call that? Not the Smoky Mountain. It's anyway. It's you know there's a
Is it I don't know. I don't even know if Baseco's in the Quezon City or is that Caloocan? I don't know.
Quezon City is
Sister Lovely, I know.
it's next to UP.
Oh, okay.
And Neil Balara, you know.
Is it
And
Cruz Maligas? No.
the one that they scavenger for you know. I
Okay.
forgot. Sorry, I'm already
No,
getting.
it doesn't matter. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Anyway,
Oh, Christy said it
so,
might be Payatas.
yes, Payatas. Okay,
Buti na
Payatas.
lang we have ano.
Thank
We
you.
have Chrissy and
So,
Lovely helping us
yeah.
every Thursday.
So he show us first the Blue Eagle, which is already complete. So there's the ladies, the mothers, and they welcome us, and then later on, Tony Miloto asked them to share their, you know, their stories, you know. So we're just listening, me and my wife, you know, wow, what, you know, what you call this transformation, this vibes, you know. But that's not that we did after that we did go to another place also near Payatas, but this one there's a build going on, and then my wife and I passing on this slum area, and this is our first time to pass by slum area, You can see, the drainage, it's not, it's maputik, it's muddy,
Mhm.
And then when we arrived there, we saw white guys building, and we were surprised, and we asked them, who are they? Oh, they're from Australia. The Australian are building at that time. So we saw that. And then the third one that Tony and Boy shows us is the in between the starting and the complete, the middle one, wherein there's some already houses built. So that's our first exposure. So
Tito, Herb was asking if that was Tatalon.
no, not that alone.
Okay. It's not
But
Tatalon.
anyway, that's the start of our. That's the start when our hearts were touched.
Mhm.
And so going back to US, me and my wife cannot sleep anymore about how we're gonna help GK, especially the poor. That's the start.
So,
So
Tito, before that trip, you have not volunteered yet.
no, no.
Okay. Okay. Sige. So after
We-
the trip, you came back, you couldn't sleep. And then what happened?
and then we joined the Heroes Run, to raise funds for GK homes in the Philippines. And then
So
I
you
was
run the marathon? Heroes runs
yes,
the marathon.
yes.
Wow.
I have an experience about that. We did it at 3 months practice, and I was training with other GK advocates, and especially Castor Castro,
Mhm.
the husband of Tess. So every week we start with 3 miles, and then next week 5 miles, and then keep on going. And then 2 weeks before the Long Beach Marathon, we did 12 miles. That's the longest one. You know what happened to me after that? After I finished it, then
Mhm.
the young ones were already eating fruits and everything. They're talking. I was there. I picked some fruits, and then when I sit down, when I stand up, I pass out, and
Wow.
I hit my face on the ground. And the young ones trying to rush and trying to catch me, but too late. Then they call an ambulance and took me to a hospital. And then they're asking me, Tito, don't finish 26 miles on the full marathon. Just do it half. And then I said, you know what? I already sent my letters to my sponsors, and I want to finish it. But they said, no, Tito, just do the 12 miles. But then on the marathon day, I was able to finish it. But on the last 3 miles, I kept on praying. I was praying, Lord, help me to finish this because I want this. The sponsor, the sponsor sometimes they give you based on how many miles you run. So I
Mhm.
said, I want the money so I can give it to the poor in the Philippines to build home. And
Wow.
and that's the first one. Then after that, Heroes
Teka
Run.
muna, Tito. Let's just take a pause. That is truly amazing. So that was 2006 when you
I think
ran the
yes,
marathon.
yes. I
Yeah,
think
because that was Heroes Run. That was the
right,
first
right.
Heroes Run national. It was a national event. I
Yes,
know this because I also ran the Chicago Marathon in 2006. So in Chicago it happens around October. I don't know what it is. I think it all happens around the same time across the US, if I'm not mistaken.
yes,
It's just
yes,
not exact, it's not the exact same date, but it usually happens around the same
right,
time, right?
right.
And during that time too, in Chicago, actually I was one of the youngest. I think no, siguro gitna pala because we had people who were like 10 years younger than me, maybe 5 years younger than me. But most of us, there were only about 50 people, and most of us were about your age, Tito. So, and
But
here's the funny, kind of embarrassing for me thing was that one of the titas, Tita Dali Bilyote, I will send this video link to her to watch this. She was at that time, I think 65, and I was 35. So I was 34 actually. I was 11 years younger than her, but she actually finished before me. She had a much better time than me. So it's just amazing. I just wanted to pick up on that because what happened to you, Tito, halfway through training, basically, right? 2 weeks before the marathon. And you know, you could have decided not to finish the 26 miles. And I don't know how to convert that in kilometers. Pasensya na kayo. Math is not my strong suit. But for those of you in the Philippines, but 26.2 miles is a lot. You know,
Yeah, multiply it by
I ran
1.6.
mine, huh?
Multiply it by 1.6 to convert to kilometers.
Okay, so there you go. Do it, whoever's watching. But it's a long run, right? And it
Right.
was for me. It took me 6 hours and 59 minutes. Robbie jokes. My husband Robbie jokes. He said, if you pass 7 hours, you're not going to be in the video because the organizers here, I think it was LaSalle Bank at that time, would take a video of you and follow you where you're running and everything. But it's pretty much a whole day of just
Yeah.
running nonstop.
It took me also more than 6 hours to finish it because, like I said, the last 3 miles, I'm already leg cramming, you know.
Oh yeah.
And I just walked. And then when I saw the finish line, then I ran again.
But Tito,
It's like give you energy when you see the finish line.
so but what you could have decided not to finish it and it would have been totally understandable. I'm sure whoever, supported you and donated on your run would have understood na, you got into you collapsed, right? 2 weeks
Yeah.
before you were rushed to the hospital. And I'm pretty sure they would have understood if you're not able to run the entire but if you were not even if you were not able to run at all, it would have been totally understandable. So what I guess inspired you to
Yeah,
finish the run?
I think the inspiration I got is that I was seeing the faces of the poor families in the Philippines. That's why I keep on praying, Lord, give me the strength so that this is for them. It's not about the money later on. It's about how can I show this, commitment to help the poor.
Mhm. Yeah, and I mean that it was that Long Beach
Yes,
marathon
Long Beach. Yeah,
was. So
Long Beach.
that's actually I think harder than Chicago marathon because Chicago's flat. It's you know
Yeah, Long
it's
Beach is
flat.
it goes to the near the beach, and then it goes to the community, to the Long
Yeah.
Beach, Cal State, Long Beach. Go inside and come out.
So was it more hilly? It's was
There's
it hilly?
portion here like a bridge. You have to
Yeah,
run over the bridge.
yeah. Well, California in general, right? It's hilly.
Right,
Illinois, Chicago is flat. And
right.
so, and I struggled. And I trained. Our training was 6 months actually. And you said you'd only trained for 3 months. And that's amazing, Tita. That's really an amazing story. So then after the marathon, what happened next? You were going to there was a continuation of that story.
Okay, after the marathon, people in Santa Clarita found out that I ran the marathon. So they were inspired, said, next year, let's run the marathon again. But the following year, I only ran half marathon, 12 miles. And then most of them also 12 miles, only one ran full marathon.
But
Yeah.
even 12 miles is a lot. Oh my
Yes,
goodness.
yes, yes.
That's still, half a marathon is
Yes.
even younger and healthier, people would not necessarily, sign up for something like that unless they're runners talaga, if that's really their passion and they run every day and stuff like that. All right. So, okay. So I want to move on before I move on to the next question or topic that I wanted to talk about. I'd like to invite everyone who wants to, who has any comments or want to share anything, during this conversation. You're part of this conversation, and so we encourage you to put your comments below. If you have any questions for Tito Tony, or just want to also share your experience. Maybe some of you remember, how it was, running that Heroes Run in your own respective area. All right. So all right. We actually have a comment from Maricel Villanueva. You remember the faces of the poor children, Tito, just like the ones in that Joey Velasco painting. Behind you, oh wow, paka-observant talaga nito si Maricel, no? She noticed that painting behind you, Tito. You want to
Yes.
tell us about that? The Joey Velasco painting behind you.
Yeah. We met Joey Velasco. Actually, uh, Tito Tony Miloto. Uh, I think we have like a group presentation. It was held in our house. So what we did, we got in advance the paintings of Joe Velasco. So we put it in our courtyard, and then put some lights, and then people come in, then they look around it, and then later on, Joey Velasco talk about it, followed by Tony Miloto. Before, I think Tony Miloto first, and then followed by Joey Velasco. At that time, Joey Velasco is already has already a health problem,
Yeah.
and in fact, it's getting cold. So I have to lend. Mick Ray asked me, "Can you lend him a jacket?" So I gave him a jacket. And so it's also like a fundraising. Some people bought the paintings, and then this one we bought it from that paintings, and it's already framed. This one's already framed, so from then on, it's hung on our dining, and this reminds us the story of each child that Joey Velasco. We got the book, and there's a story behind those kids.
There's,
And
there's another version of that, right? That one behind you are the kids.
this is the first one wherein you can see the background is dark, meaning these are the four children that Joey Velasco asked them to come and then paint them. And then the second one, the background is already white,
Yeah.
no longer black, because Joey Velasco's paintings raise money to build homes actually for these children. So the second painting is that the children are already happy because they're living in a GK village already.
And Jesus is happy too in that painting,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes.
Smiling and
Yeah.
laughing, having a great time with the children. I thought those paintings were really powerful. I regret that I did not get a copy of it. I wonder if there's even a print version, that we can get a hold of and frame for us here too. But yeah, so Joey Velasco is a painter, for those of you who might not know him, and maybe you joined Gawad Kanina years after Joey Velasco had passed, actually, but he left a legacy for these children, and for people to see how powerful love is, right, in with
Yeah.
him building that village for this street
Yeah.
children.
We were happy that we were able to went to his house, but he'd already died. But Winnie invited us to come to their house, and we saw the actual painting. It's like a wall painting, big. This is small.
Wow,
The other one is on their dining is really like a wall, the original painting.
like a mural.
Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
that's original.
All right. Well, Tito, let's switch gears here for a little bit. You mentioned going to the Philippines, and I know you continue to, with the exception of the pandemic, obviously no one can travel. But before that, before the pandemic, you had been going to the Philippines, on a yearly basis, maybe more than
Yeah,
once a year, and that you're also the GKUSA Bayanihan Build Director. So can
yeah.
you share with us a little bit more about that?
Okay, I started going to GK Build, the first GK Bayanihan Build, with organized by Rose Cabrera in 2006, and we went to Isabela to Mawini. And from that build, then every year from 2006 to 2019, every year, me and my wife and I go to the Philippines to do a build. So it's about, I would say about, we did around 15 builds because
Wow.
sometimes 1 year we go January and June, sometimes twice a year.
Mhm.
And then after that, we go every year. But we did the 15 builds, and then also three social business, GK social business in Enchanted Farm. And then I was also got a chance to join the Bohol earthquake, the disaster response.
Mhm.
That's that's something that I will not forget that experience because I fly to Cebu, and then from Cebu we took a Roro boat going to Bohol, and the last Roro boat is already around midnight because that's where GK get free rides together with the trucks loaded with the goods, and the goods. I saw the goods when I arrived in Cebu. There's no school at that time because of the earthquake. So in Cebu, there's I forgot the name of the university, and there are students doing the packaging, putting it in a plastic bag, and then that's the one that they put on the truck, and then we took it through a roro boat going to Bohol. I think Tubangon is the name of the pier. We arrived there. That it's totally dark, no lights, and then they told us be careful because there's a crack on the pier, so you might you might step on might go down. So we have last night they I was with yeah, I think, the following day I met Dan Bercasio and Chinky, and then also Luis followed later on, joined us in this distribution of packages to victims of Bohol earthquake. The thing that I won't forget is that together with the GK team, we sleep on a basketball court, covered basketball court. It's not a gym. Then we use the cardboard of the water bottle, cardboard as our mat to sleep on. And then once in a while, there will be an aftershock. So they will wake us up and all we run out of that basketball court. Another thing is that the water, because of the earthquake, the color is brown because of the clay. So what we do, we take a bath in the evening so you don't see the color of the water. So
Wow.
you can take a shower because it's hot, and during daytime it's hot, and you're distributing those packages. So you're perspiring. So when we are get back to the school, then we try to take a bath using that like a uh, there's no shower. You have a water on a container, and then you have a small tabo or container to wash your body. And it's dark also. You use flashlight while you're taking a bath. That that experience I won't forget in my life. I
But this,
learned I learned that whether you're rich or poor, if there's a disaster, all of us will be living on the same situation like that.
so Tito, you've been going home, participating in this Bayanihan build for about 13 years if you started in
Yes,
2006.
yes, 13 years.
And the only year you stopped was last year during
Yes.
the pandemic,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
So what what motivates you to keep going back? I mean, I suppose, each experience is inspiring, and there's, it must be an amazing experience each time you go, right? But 13 years is a long time, and that's a lot of travel, not to mention, it's got to be expensive, also going home, every single year, and it's not an ordinary, like going home, seeing your friends and family, every year. It's you can actually spend that time doing something else, right? But what keeps you going? Why do you keep going back?
The reason why I keep going, because I can see there's a big line of families waiting to have a house, and also it gave me inspiration to do more, because I know this work is unending, and also I know this is what God's purpose in my life is, to uh, help the needy, the poor, because it's more than evangelization is more effective in faith in action rather than trying to talk about it. So it inspires me every time I go to the Philippines. And then when you're in the Philippines, you're inspired. And then when you go to back to US, and then now back to the material
So
things,
it energizes you, or
Yeah.
re-energizes you, right? Every time you come back,
Yes.
to the US, and kind of, really
And
help you focus also.
and the more I realize how blessed are we here in the United States, because you saw uh, every year it's a different areas we're going. So you saw different areas, different situation, different people, different, all those things, you know.
All right.
And especially inspired me is the sharing of the people in the GK community, the beneficiaries. It's really touched my heart when I can see there is um, transformation on their lives before what they are used to be, but now they knew that there's God. Before, when they're in the squatter area, they don't know there's God. They just, whatever happened, it happened. When it's raining, they don't know whether they'll still be alive because of the flooding on the river. And then, but now, after going to the GK value formation and then giving them the homes, they now feel that, yeah, if you pray, God will help you. And in fact, one mother in Bacolod told me about, we are already here. Yeah, we are out of the slum, but we are still poor because of the job, I mean, not really, the husband not really earning a lot. So then what I shared to her is that, when I was in the Philippines, I'm not rich, I'm not wealthy, but the only difference, I was able to go to college and have an education. And then because of this education, was able to go to the US. And now, so that's the reason why there's a change in my life. Then what the mother really amazed me is, she said, kaya gusto ko po sana mag-aral din yung anak ko, makatapos din para maging kagaya nyo. In English,
Mhm.
she said, I hope my my son will also go to college and also go to US like you, be a successful engineer or something.
Yeah. Wow. Well, that's a really good segue on the next topic or segment I want to touch on. Before we get to that, though, Lovely was asking, were you referring to Tubigon Port in Bohol?
Yes,
Ah,
to
okay,
be gone, to
Tubigon
be
Port.
gone.
Ayan. And then from her, Mini Coffer, when in countryside in Pinas, I usually take a bucket shower, a unique experience, and it works.
Yeah,
Glad
yeah.
you're enjoying that, Herb. And then from Tito June, Dr. Jose Rapinian, great sharing and lasting GK memories. Congratulations. All right. So the next in this next segment, I wanted to ask, since you kind of alluded to it, how you were given education, and that's why you were able to migrate to the U.S. and maybe pursued that proverbial greener pasture, right? So Tito, you were a quality engineer at Boeing. So tell us a little bit more about your background and what you did prior to doing all this wonderful work that you're doing for God Kalinga.
Actually, because of my experience in the Philippines in Metals Industry Research Center, so when I moved to US, I was able to use that technical skills. And then I worked for Boeing for 28 years on a space shuttle program. And I was given by NASA the uh, NASA, what that award is like, it's a recognition,
Mhm.
NASA awardee, flight awardee, because NASA spent the money of 1 week for me and my wife to go to Florida and witness the launching of the space shuttle. Because when I was working, the reason why I was given that award because after we designed the space shuttle engine, then we did the testing, and then now when it's before it's ready to first flight of the Columbia, then NASA came back to us and asking us, what's the risk of flying the space shuttle? Because this is the first reusable rocket engine on that space shuttle. And used to be the rocket engines at one time when you ignite it, it goes there and then that's it. But this one, our rocket engines is reusable, meaning that there are three engines that if something happened, the computer can shut it down and then they can abort the mission. But NASA came back to us at Rocketdyne saying, what's the risk? And to tell you the truth, we don't know what's at that time as the risk because the engine was designed not by what they call it fracture control program or fracture mechanics. Was designed just that it was designed that if you pressure test a vessel and it passed, that means it's okay. But NASA is thinking about the fracture mechanics, meaning that it's like a metal. You cycle it several
Mhm.
times and until it fails. So that's what NASA was asking. So because of that, I've become a member of the team with counterpart with NASA and reviewing all the parts in the space shuttle engine. And I was assigned to search it. Remember, the engine is already done; it's already there in the space shuttle. So I have to search at each part of the fracture critical parts from raw material all the way up to the finished product. And I spend the whole time doing that, researching, and then telling them, yeah, I will tell them, well, there's no inspection done there. Then they said, oh, there's no inspection, so what will happen? So now we give it to our fracture mechanics people, and then they will calculate. They put a scenario. Let's say if the crack is 90% deep already, then they said, yeah, it's still okay. It will fly that one time going there, but when it come back, we will remove the part and replace it with a new one. So that's the scenario to say, okay, it's okay to fly. But it takes several weeks debating between NASA and our company about that. How sure we are that it will not fail. So because of that things I did, I guess NASA realized how much effort I did to to make the to make sure that the rocket engines will not fail. So
Yeah.
that just as a token, first they give me like the NASA astronaut gave me first they call it Silver Snoopy Award. This
Wow.
came from the NASA Corps
Yeah.
gave me that Silver Snoopy Award, and then later on they gave me the NASA gave me the space flight awardee.
Wow, Tito.
So,
Very impressive. My goodness, our
yeah,
own Tito Tony Pasqua. Like that's really, you make us proud as Filipinos. Like Tito Tony Meloto would say, right? How, Filipinos who are given the opportunity, given the right opportunity, Filipinos truly rise up and even go the extra mile over and beyond what is expected of them. And you getting all those awards from NASA is testimony to that truly, Filipinos are you know are you know we are a people of of something that we can be proud of, right? And all we need is that opportunity. So going back to that, to the mother who you talked to, right, where she said she wants her son to have the same opportunity. And if the poor just had, if there are more people in our country given the opportunity like that was given to you and even to me as well, although I don't have NASA awards or anything like that, but just having this opportunity to be able to, to have a comfortable life, I guess. People people in our country should be able to have, a good life as well and be successful in all of that. Wow, Tito Tony, just bihira ako ma-speechless. Pero that one is, that was just really, truly amazing. All right, so I want to go back to the, Jainab sends us three hearts, three heart emojis. Hi, Jainab. Thank you for joining us this evening. So, Tito Ton, so for those who are interested in participating in a Bayanihan build, hopefully by next year we can start doing that again. It looks like things are opening up a little bit here in our country, in the US and in the Philippines. I think more and more people are getting vaccinated. So what does it take to be a part of the Bayanihan build? What do people need to have or prepare, or what kind of information can we give them about that?
when I was doing the Biennium Build Coordinator, we sent them a flyer what to expect. It's a 1 week build, but the build is not purely build. There is also interaction with the beneficiaries, and then also sometimes the local government also uh, come along. So that's the reason why it calls Bayanihan Build, because it is from Balikbayan, the beneficiaries, and the local government are doing the work in that 1 week. So as a Balikbayan, you will be assigned with a beneficiary to work with you. Let's say today we're gonna do painting. Tomorrow we'll be planting. The next day we'll be digging trenches, and then for a male like me, they ask us to dig a septic tank. Can you
Mhm.
imagine how deep it is? Oh, and
Wow.
it's hot in the Philippines, so you're fully sweating, digging
Yeah.
it. Yeah, but 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 you know what? Everybody enjoy, even though we are
You
not.
probably don't feel tired being around
Yeah,
all
we
those
are not
people.
accustomed to the heat there because we are already acclimated here in US. But then, because of seeing these people working with you, you don't want to stop. Keep doing it.
Yeah.
And also, there's one that mixing the cement. For ladies, mostly it's painting. They assign the ladies for the painting. And then the nice thing also at the end of the 7 days,
But even painting can be hard. Like painting your house. Like we painted our house two years ago. It's just a bedroom. and it's not, it's not big, it's a small bedroom, but
You,
you feel your arms
yeah, yeah.
all sore and all of that. But
You know,
but if you're in that environment like the Bayanihan build though, you probably don't feel tired and you just keep going.
well, they don't mind whether you do a good job painting it because uh, sometimes we heard comments from the painter. That's okay. Anyway, we will retouch it later on when you are gone. You know, same thing with setting the hollow blocks. Don't
Yeah,
worry because
we'll fix it.
the ladies are putting concrete in between the hole of the hollow blocks.
Yeah.
And then sometimes it's not aligned, it's crooked. Then they said that's okay. They will allow us to do it, and then later on they fix it. It's
Yeah.
the same thing. I remember in Isabela, we went to planting rice so we can experience planting rice. And and after we did the planting rice, the farmers are scratching their head because it's not aligned. It's supposed to be aligned, the rice. And then
Mhm.
they said that's okay. We will redo it again.
It really is just for the experience
Right, right,
of
right, right,
people who are participating.
right,
So I'm
right.
pretty sure, the how much it costs probably will change by 2022
Oh
or
yeah, yeah.
2023. But can you just give us a rough, figure of how much it cost like the last time you went in 2019?
Well, in 2019, actually, it didn't materialize because uh, it, only few is willing to join.
Okay.
So plus the prices is might be three times already than before.
Right.
Because when we initially did the 2006, $500 is for the 7 days. That
Yeah.
includes your lodging, food, and yeah, lodging and food and transportation.
Yeah.
But the airline is you have to pay for your own airline from US to Manila.
Hmm.
But the 7 day deal, there's a registration, you pay $500. And then when I was a Bayanihan bid coordinator, I normally talk uh, with GK Mabuhay in Manila. And then the only thing they require us here, at least 10 people to break even for them. 10
Hmm.
people. Because one van is, let's say, 10 people. But if you have
Yeah.
only 5 people, then lugi sila, they are, you
Yeah.
know, transportation
Well,
expense.
especially if they have to redo what you do.
Right.
That probably costs more.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
So,
people, okay, so no, I ask because I think, there might be people who would, especially, not being able to travel for a year, right? Traveling, I think, to a lot of people would now be more meaningful. In fact, everything we do now would be more meaningful because, I think we have a better appreciation of connecting and, being face to face and breaking bread with together and all of that, right? So I think traveling might be people might want more meaning in their travels when they go back to the Philippines, and that maybe it's not just about seeing their family and friends, which is of course important, right? But they might want to experience something that could really potentially change their lives, as it has happened to you, and it happens every year, the past 13 years that you've been doing the Bayanihan build, right? So I think how much it costs should not stop people from making it a goal to participate in a Bayanihan build, because there are ways around it. It does not have to, if you have limited financial resources, you can raise funds with your friends, right? I know of a group here in Illinois, the Archdiocese of Joliet. Every year, every January, they would go to the Philippines, and I think mostly they build in Bacolod, and is coordinated by Bobby Magalona, I think, and if
Yeah,
Marisol,
Bobby Maganones is from Bacolod.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so every year, every January, they would go, and these are some of them, are students, and they will raise funds. They will do car wash and
Yes, yes,
other
yes.
fundraising activities. And I think that's even more powerful than having your own. I think, than having having to spend out of your own pocket. Because why? You are now able to raise awareness about Gawad Kalinga, right? Among the people you
Oh, yeah.
solicit funds from, right? So if you're doing car wash, of course, you tell them, I want to go to the Philippines, build homes for the poor, blah, blah, blah. And then now you can get to talk about Gawad Kalinga and what we do for the poor. So for those of you who are watching and you're interested to, participate in the Bayanihan Bill, there are many ways you can participate and let not financial resources be something that would hinder you from participating in a Bayanihan build. All right. So June Domantay says hello. He says he's watching from Tampa, Florida. Hello, June. Thank you for joining us this evening. Let me see. I think um okay, so you're in the I just also want to take this opportunity, Tito, before I ask the last question for the night, or question for this week. I also want to take this opportunity for you to see, to if there are people, who live around Riverside and want to be a part of Gawad Kalinga, how do they contact you? Can we put your email
Yeah.
in the chat box? Can you tell us what your email is, and
Uh,
Christy or Lovely will put it down.
yeah, I'm using the agp1205 at gmail.com.
Okay.
I So before I have a GK USA email, but I haven't used it, so maybe it's already inactive. So
Okay.
I prefer my personal email, agp1205 at
At
gmail.
gmail.com.
Yeah,
AGP, that's Alpha George Paul
yeah, it's like my initial,
1205. Yes.
Antonio G. Pasqua,
Yes.
and 1205,
AGP 1205 or 1205 at
1205.
gmail.com. So please get in touch with Tita Tony Pasqua if you're in the Riverside area and you want to know more about Gawad Kalinga and what we do for the poor and what we do for our country, really. And, reach out to him and send him an email. And then maybe you want to be part of our organization as well. All right. So our question for the night, Tito. How has volunteering changed your life?
It changed two things spiritually. It changed, faith in action is, when you do help, especially those people who are in need. And then you spiritually saying that you're doing your part as as God wants us to do, to love our neighbor. And then also volunteering also morally um, is a blessing. So we need to be blessing to others, and also not only to our friends, families, and relatives, especially to strangers. Because through volunteering, you will expand your experience and your horizon of other people, that you interact. But by volunteering, also you have a self satisfaction, your esteem, for your life, and also makes me stronger to live more years, so that I can be of helpful to others. I
Awesome,
think
awesome.
that's exactly what I'm doing, and me and my wife just we just continue to serve others, to volunteer, whether it's in GK or in the church or whatever. We do it. So we are active in the church. We are active in Gawad Kalinga. We are active in the community, and So it's easy to volunteer to help others.
Awesome, awesome. All of that is great, Tito, but I love what you said about adding more years into your life, right? Because it gives us purpose, right? It gives
Right.
more meaning into our life, being able to make a difference in other people's lives. Thank you, Tito Tony, for joining me this evening,
You're welcome.
and thank you everyone for joining us for another episode of Quantum GK. We would like to invite you again to reach out to Tito Tony if you live in the Riverside area, to find out about Gawad Kalinga USA and what we do for the poor in the Philippines. And if you're not in the Riverside area, if you're elsewhere in the United States, please leave us a message on GK USA's Facebook page, and we will connect you to the area director in your area. So you can also be a part of Gawad Kanina and, feel the joy that Tito Tony shared, with us this evening about being a part of this work since 2006. And, traveling to the Philippines for the past, for 13 years participating in the Bayanihan Builds. So with that, thank you so much for joining us. And make it a habit every Thursday night. Join us in our conversation. Be a part of the conversation here on Quantum GK. Good night, everyone.
Good night. Thank you, Donna. Thank you for inviting me.
All right.